Hello class. Today I'm going to be talking about how I changed the way I perceive my Palestinian identity and how it shaped me as a person. Growing up in the US was very hard for me because I never truly felt accepted as an American, but I was never proud to say I was Palestinian either. Although I didn't know much about my Palestinian homeland, what I did know was that the topic of Palestine was very controversial, and because of this I would often shy away from it. That being said, I will now explain how I changed the way I perceive my Palestinian identity as something that strengthens and motivates me rather than something that hinders me. When I was a child, I felt like I needed everyone's validation. I felt like everyone needed to like me. So when I would tell people I'm from Palestine and they would give me dirty looks or outcast me, I started to avoid telling people this. I would hide this part of my identity, and when people would ask me where I'm from, I would say anything but Palestine. And this truly affected the way I viewed my identity. I viewed it as something that hindered me, something as an annoyance, something that I did not want. However, this changed when I took an ethnic studies class in high school. I realized that I was not alone. I realized that others had similar experiences and others' voices were shut down. So this was very empowering for me. It did not only change the way I viewed my own identity, but it also heavily impacted my major decision when applying for colleges. I knew that I wanted to do ethnic studies because I knew that I wanted to keep taking classes to educate me about not only my identity, but other people's identities. Because I know that the Palestinian identity is not the only identity that is often marginalized. And I knew I would feel very empowered by taking these classes. What I also realized was that I loved to teach people about the things I learned in my ethnic studies classes or on my own. So I realized that I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to educate people because I realized so many people do not know not only about Palestine but other people as well. And I realized that this would create a safe space for others like me that felt very insecure about their identity to talk about their identity in a safe space, one where people aren't going to judge you. And it would also normalize debate and talks, discussions about marginalized identities. And for me, this was very important. And I also knew that my Palestinian identity would now strengthen me rather than hinder me. And I knew that this was a good way for me to come to terms with my identity. So as you can see, I have not only changed the way I perceive my Palestinian identity, but I now use it to strengthen and motivate me.